Niaje investor, this is by far the cheapest investment. It is cheaper than your Wi-Fi, it is cheaper than your phone, it is cheaper than your house rent, regardless of how much you pay for your rent. And though it is the most important investment, it will shock you that only a few people have invested in it or even know about it. So before I go any further, if you know any breadwinner, whether married or not, and if you know anyone that has a family, please do me a favor and send them this video right now. And by doing that, you will help me pass them one of the most important information or updates of the year. Hii kitu, sitaki kuget keep, wacha tu niseme initoke, so that mwenye masikio atasikia. This video will be very short in order to make it manageable even for someone with a very busy schedule or has the shortest concentration span. Therefore, finya hiyo like and subscribe button as we go on. So what is this investment? How cheap is it? What is the value? Why do you need it? And I will show you where you are going to check the amounts by yourself in order for you to take action. So first things first, what is this investment? To answer this question, let me ask you this. How many WhatsApp groups in the past year alone were you added to in order to help raise funds to give someone a decent send-off? 1, 2, 3, or maybe more? This could be someone close, maybe a friend, neighbor, or family member, and at times it could be a colleague at your workplace. Wait a minute. Have you ever been added to or sent a request to join a group, such kind of a group, and were unable to raise even a little because things are tight, maze? Ama ujiski maybe. Where it can actually be embarrassing at times, yes? Sometimes you don't care. At times it raises grudges. You'll hear things like, wacha tu siku yake pia itakuja, na hatutamchangia ama tutamlenga pia the same way. Anyways, wacha kulenga watu, but there is a solution that can actually stand in the gap if anything were to happen. Either to your friends, ama someone in your chama, or a relative, or a close family member. And why do I call it an investment? This is because you get to pay a very small payment, but then it guarantees a certain amount of money, as I will show you shortly, which is more than what you have contributed or paid to take care of such situations. So to pay a specific amount now, and if anything happened, God forbid, to your staff, chama member, family member, parent, or even yourself, in the course of the next 365 days or 1 year since you paid, there is a specified amount that will be paid to cover those costs, and there will be no need to form endless WhatsApp groups and endless daily challenges to raise that money. I'm not saying that people should not come together to raise money in such situations, but we all know that it is always better to have somewhere that you can start from. Before I tell you where to get it, Brian, you keep saying that it's cheap. How cheap is it? I call it cheap because literally every adult can afford it, and there's no excuse not to have one for your family, chama, or staff. I'm talking about as low as 1K and even lower, paid once a year for some amounts, and we shall see real examples shortly. So what values are we talking about? To get the clear picture of the value or return on investment, let us practically look at a tool that I created to help you find out how much each particular value will cost you. So I am going to leave a link on the description below or on the profile bio or hapa hivi somewhere, and when you click on it or open it, it will bring you to this page over here. So scroll down if you're using your phone to this section asking if you want to run a quote. On a computer, you don't need to scroll, I think, yeah? Currently, there's only one option for you to learn with or get a picture, and I'm working for more options to be added for you to consider. So in the meantime, select right here and click on next. The next page will open, will ask who is taking the cover. So remember that there is an age limit for those who will need to take this up, and that begins from 18 to 75. The first option is for an individual aged between 18 to 60, whether you are male or female, and the results from this option mean that you are the only one covered, or whoever it is that you want to take the cover for. This does not include anyone or dependent, yeah, to this individual, and that's why it says just me, and I am up to 60 years. The next option showing over here is just me, which is an individual, again, just like the first option, but now this one is when I am between 60 years and 75, which is the maximum for intake. So if I'm 68 years, 72, I can be able to check how much they need to pay through that option. The last option is me plus my nuclear family, and I am up to 60 years, which means if I'm 30, 20, 35, 50 years, and I also want to include my dependents, my spouse, and up to 4 children, this is the option that I should choose. Now that you understand, let me use an example of a gentleman aged 36 and has a spouse with 2 kids. So we select here and click on next. You will be brought to this section that asks which cover amount do you want, and you can see 5 different options from 50k to 500k. At this stage, you can choose whichever amount to see the outcome, and remember, you can always come back to change and see the alternative. So in this case, let's select 250k and click on next. In the next stage, it will ask if you would wish to add your parents or parents-in-laws. Remember, as a family person, you can also choose to include your parents or your spouse parents. For this sake, this illustration, let me say no, but you can always try all the other options as you wish to plan for. Then the next question will be, do you have any extra children that you wish to cover? This applies for those that have more than 4 children, since the cover only allows up to 4 children for the same price in this choice. So for every extra child, you will pay something little on top. If you click yes in any of these questions, it will open more options for you to select. For example, if the first question you said yes, you want to add parents, it will open a place for you to select which parents you want to cover. And the same applies to the second question, where it will ask you to select the number of children that you also want to add to the cover. Remember, you can include your younger siblings, brothers and sisters below 18 as part of your children. But since our guy only has 2 children and does not want to cover his parents in this cover, then we will say no again and click on next. As you can see, here you will be shown the total annual premium payable only once a year, and in the case of this guy, he's required to pay $32.88 only for a cover worth $250,000. This means that if anything happened to this guy, the beneficiary or family member will receive $250,000 to help with the expense and burial arrangements. If the same happened to their spouse, they will still receive that amount, that's $250,000. And if anything happened to any of their under 18 children, the government, or rather like the law, restricts that children will only be paid up to 100k per child. Yes. Well, from this point, you can click on previous to go back and change a few things here and there, or try out other options of the cover. Or if you're satisfied with this one, you can now answer this last question, which says, would you like to get more information or clarity, and choose what suits you. If you only want to receive the quote on your email for you to consider share with someone, then select no right here. Just mail me the quote and you will receive an email instantly with the details you selected. But if you need to ask more questions about this or get clarity before you make a decision whether you need to start or not, then select yes. Contact me. It will ask you for contacts or my email address, and then select submit to finish. Well, you can check more details on this cover on this same page over here. But all in all, that is how you get to know what to invest and what to expect in return. Why do you need it? My pastor jokingly says that these things are for all of us, and the way you hear about them on the news or from other people, someday you will hear about someone that you know. Then another time it will be someone very close to you, and eventually it will be your turn, and others will hear about you. So first and foremost, this could happen to anyone. The next thing is that nobody knows when it will strike. Then people shouldn't get into debt, use their savings, dispose of their assets and belongings, or be embarrassed if anything were to happen to someone close to them. And lastly, if you are the breadwinner, then you shouldn't let your people be thrown into confusion, especially now that we live in times when uchumi is bad and people have very few friends, strained family relationship. People around them love them, yes, but they are not in a position to help them raise enough money for such a situation. Imagine you live in Nairobi or Mombasa and you come from the other side of the country. So you throw everyone into confusion on a roller coaster, trying to get you home, and those eyeing your spouse, trying to bring themselves closer because of the price they are seeing. Bana, come on. All right, This investment is found in almost all insurance companies. Not all of them offer competitive or are offering good rates, but you can always do your research and settle for what is best for you. Through the link below, you can also get assistance in signing up or making any further inquiries. Just to make it clear, in most companies, it is known as funeral cover, last expense cover, or last respect. So, as you invest in shares, money market funds, and all the rest, deal with this investment first. Afadhali nimesema imenitoka. Ama vipi my investors? Now we can talk about other investments as we go on. So make sure subscribe and see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.